When it comes to video games released in the last few years, there have been some real disappointments. Despite a handful of these games having made unexpected comebacks, many have faded into the ever-growing void of irrelevancy. But then, occasionally, there's a game that most certainly does not disappoint. These games take you out of reality, which sometimes is exactly what you need. Every single one of us waits for a game just like this, and there are many. But today we'll be talking about one such game, and that is Satisfactory. Satisfactory has been in early access since the 19th of March 2019, and eventually it came out of early access on the 10th of September 2024, meaning it stayed in early access for 2002 days. This sounds like a long time, and that's because it was. You might think players and fans got bored along the way, but that most certainly did not happen, because since 2019, we've had 8 pretty major updates. Everything from trains and nuclear-related items to drones, hover packs, hostile creatures that I'm definitely not afraid of, blueprints, and so much more, until eventually 1.0 released, and it absolutely blew up. After peaking at over 180,000 players on Steam alone, not including Epic Games, 4.9 stars on the Epic Games Store, overwhelming reviews on Steam, and countless news articles about its success, it's clear to see this game is very successful. But why? Well, I'll be echoing some similar points that I made in this previous video, but with a couple additional points which I believe to be important to this argument. How did this game blow up? Well, it's time to find out. If you enjoy videos like this, please do consider subscribing. We're still a relatively small channel and I've been loving making these videos, so hopefully if you guys want to see more of them, let me know in the comments down below. Firstly, Satisfactory is an escape from reality. Unlike games like Dustborn that have a very strong political message where the main game mechanic is to cancel and to trigger people who disagree with you, Satisfactory stays well away from that. And judging from the player numbers, it's clear that's a good thing. Everyone and anyone can play and enjoy this game, no matter your age, what you believe in, or if you enjoy pineapple on pizza. Secondly, the developers of the game deserve huge praise for their work. Everything from the Twitch stated development streams to the YouTube videos breaking down cool and unique features on future updates. These trailers show off a lot of really cool mechanics and obviously the actual game itself, which is still pretty enjoyable. Unfortunately, there are some bugs in the game and yes, they are rather annoying, but I've come over from Battlefield, so I'm already used to these bugs, if not worse. Also need to remember that this update is still relatively fresh, so more bugs will get squashed along the way. Having said that, they released a thread over on Reddit on the known bugs that they're currently trying to fix just 2 days after 1.0 dropped. They clearly care about making sure their customers are happy. Their development team are also rather active on Discord too, answering questions and squashing rumors. Everything from the gameplay, to the sound design, to small mechanics like character customization, and of course big features like teleportation, spoilers, have been miraculously threaded into the game and honestly make it incredible. All of these notes harmonize to form the game that we all know and love today. The third reason as to why I think this game is successful is due to the game just being good. Personally, I've never really been into a factory or automation games. I've never tried Factorio, which I probably will do one day, or any games of the sort. But there was just something interesting about Satisfactory that caught my attention, and after over 2,000 hours in the game, I haven't looked back once. The game's challenging, and at some points it can be a bit overwhelming, especially when there's a lot going on. Another reason could be that Satisfactory has a very diverse gameplay. If you're finding logistic work a bit overwhelming, you can just design blueprint factories. If you find that a bit boring, you can go out exploring. I've had days when I've been exploring for hours, and I've kind of just forgotten I'm playing a factory game. It feels like there's so much to do, which helps massively to stay motivated whilst playing the game. Furthermore, Satisfactory also has great mod support. There are loads of mods that you can download for the game that completely change the way the game actually works. I have made an entire separate video about this, but it's fantastic to see that the developers, despite not necessarily adding these mods into the game, also support the mods, which is nice to see as well. Additionally, there's tons of different playstyles in the game. You might be into modular builds, where you build small factories all over the world that produce a certain item like screws or iron plates or iron rods. Or you might be into mega factories that produce everything in one location. There are dozens of different playstyles that appeal to dozens of different types of people, and that's one of my favourite things about this game. Despite there being milestones, you can still play the game in whichever way best suits you. You don't have to build a crazily stupid factory that's massive and produces way too many items. You can build a relatively small factory if you so wish. Again, the game is yours. The final point that I'll mention is content creators. This might sound like a bit of a weird point, but like I mentioned in my previous video, it actually plays a much bigger role than you think. How many of us watching this video today have watched a Kibitz video, or a Let's Game It Out video, or Total Eclipse, Bits, or Construction, or any of these really big content creators and thought, you know what? That looks like a really cool game, and then you decided to buy it or download it. I know for a fact I'm one of them. This is because content creation has played a massive part in the reason as to why this game's blown up. Just seeing the way that everything's automated and how big you can really build has inspired a lot of people to download the game, again, myself included. Maybe without Let's Game It Out playing the game, or without Kibitz doing a series on Satisfactory, a lot of us maybe wouldn't have even noticed this game even existed, or a lot of us maybe would not have bought it. If I could describe Satisfactory in a sentence, it would be like red wine. It seems to have just aged over time and gotten better as time's gone on. And judging by the player numbers, it's clear that a lot of other people feel the exact same. But before we go, a massive thank you to our members, Mau Mau, Skull and Hattie, Lo, Litormal, Chaos Rising, Cutthroat Zoo, Yummy Kel, and Tio Rico.